Episode 6. On December 28th, tension flowed through the top-floor conference room of Dongwon Construction headquarters. SEO Yan was presiding over her first executive meeting 3 days before her inauguration as CEO. Dressed in a black suit, her appearance was imposing. "Let's discuss next year's business plan." SEO Yan's voice was calm yet powerful. The executives sitting around the table couldn't hide their surprised expressions. They hadn't expected the heir who had disappeared for 5 years to be so prepared. "The overseas business division's performance is sluggish. Director, could you explain?" The overseas business director flusteredly shuffled through his documents. SEO Yan had already reviewed all the materials. She had spent the last month staying up all night to understand the company overall. "I'm sorry. It's due to exchange rate fluctuations and local regulations." "That's an excuse. Our competitors grew 20% under the same conditions." At SEO Yan's sharp point, the conference room fell silent. The vice president thought to himself with admiration, "She's truly the chairman's granddaughter." After the meeting, the chief of staff approached. "You were perfect, madam. The executives are all impressed." SEO Yan smiled humbly. "I'm still lacking. I need to work harder." Just then, her phone rang. It was Do-yeon. "SEO Yan, do we really have to go on December 31st? Mom keeps saying it's strange." "Yes. Please be sure to come. There will be an important announcement." SEO Yan's voice held a strange leisure. Do-yeon felt uneasy, but couldn't ask further. The next day, SEO Yan met with the company's public relations team. It was a final check on the preparations for the December 31st press conference. Media invitations are complete. All major daily newspapers and broadcasters have confirmed attendance. As she listened to the PR team leader's report, SEO Yan nodded. Now all preparations were truly complete. "Please prepare one more thing. Materials about my married life." The PR team leader looked surprised. "Your married life?" "Yes. I think it's necessary to show how I've lived for the past 5 years." SEO Yan's gaze was firm. The PR team leader bowed his head without further questions. On December 30th, SEO Yan visited her grandfather for the last time. His condition had worsened significantly, but her grandfather still welcomed his granddaughter warmly. "It's tomorrow, SEO Yan." "Yes, grandfather. It's finally tomorrow." Her grandfather held SEO Yan's hand with his weak hand. "I'm proud. I knew you would grow strong like this." Tears welled up in SEO Yan's eyes. Her grandfather's hand felt so cold. "Grandfather, you must get better. You need to see me leading the company well." Her grandfather smiled faintly. "Yes, I'll try." Leaving the hospital room, SEO Yan paused in the hallway. Her heart felt heavy. She could tell her grandfather didn't have much time left. That night, SEO Yan had dinner with Joo-hee. It was to soothe her tense heart before the next day. "Finally, it's tomorrow. Aren't you nervous?" At Joo-hee's question, SEO Yan shook her head. "Strangely, I feel peaceful. Actually, I feel refreshed. I'm really curious how that arrogant mother-in-law's expression will change." The two friends smiled slightly, but there was also bitterness in one corner of SEO Yan's heart. The regret that it was ending like this. On the morning of December 31st, SEO Yan woke up early and began preparing. She put on a newly tailored navy suit and neatly pulled up her hair. Her reflection in the mirror looked both unfamiliar and familiar. This was her true self. Arriving at Dongwon Construction headquarters, SEO Yan headed to the main conference room. Journalists were already arriving one after another, and employees were busily moving about. "Madam, the in-laws family has arrived at 1:45 p.m. Hearing the chief of staff's report, SEO Yan took a deep breath. Now it was really beginning. Sitting in the front row of the main conference room, Malsoon, Do-yeon, and Shinwoo's family had bewildered expressions. They couldn't understand why they had been invited here. "Do-yeon, what is this? Why did SEO Yan call us here?" Malsoon's voice was tinged with irritation. "I don't know either, Mom." Shinwoo sneered. Don't tell me she got a job here or something? What connection could the daughter of a manual laborer have to... Just then, the stage lights turned on, and a person walked onto the podium. It was a confident-looking woman in a black suit. Malsoon's eyes widened. The woman was none other than Seo Yeon, but there was no trace of the shabby daughter-in-law she usually saw. It was the appearance of a confident CEO. Seo Yeon took the microphone and spoke. Hello, I am Park Seo Hyun, inaugurating today as the CEO of Dongwon Construction. The conference room buzzed. Journalists began taking pictures enthusiastically, while Malsoon and Do-yeon were too shocked to close their mouths. Seo Yeon looked directly at her mother-in-law and husband and smiled. That smile contained all the emotions she had endured for 5 years. Seo Yeon continued speaking from the podium. The conference room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Malsoon's face in the front row was deathly pale, and Do-yeon was looking at his wife with a dazed expression. I am the granddaughter of Park Tae-soo, founder of Dongwon Construction. As of today, I have inherited all management rights of the company and am inaugurating as CEO. Camera flashes from journalists exploded. Seo Yeon paused to catch her breath and fixed her gaze on her mother-in-law. Malsoon was trembling. I specially invited my in-laws' family to today's gathering. They are the people who have cherished me for the past 5 years. Seo Yeon's voice held a strange irony. Journalists began whispering. They were surprised that the heir to Dongwon Construction had been married. Materials prepared by the chief of staff appeared on the screen. Dongwon Construction's corporate value and the shares Seo Yeon was to inherit were displayed. Total assets, 10 trillion won. SEO Yeon's share alone was over 400 billion won. Shinwoo's mouth was hanging open. She couldn't believe that the sister-in-law she had so looked down on was the heir to such a huge company. SEO Yeon spoke again. I had a special experience for the past 5 years. Following my grandfather's teachings, I hid my identity and lived as an ordinary person. The screen changed. SEO Yeon's family tree appeared. Chairman Park Tae-soo, her father who passed away early, and Seo Yeon, the sole heir. Many of you must be curious. Why did I hide my identity? Why am I revealing it only now? Seo Yeon paused for a moment. Then, looking straight at Malsoon, she said, because I believed that a person's true value should be evaluated not by their origin or wealth, but by the person themselves. Malsoon's face turned red and blue. All the words she had said to her daughter-in-law came back to her. The memories of looking down on her as the daughter of a manual laborer, the moments of mocking her for her poor family background, flashed through her mind like a panorama. One journalist raised his hand. CEO Park, wasn't it difficult hiding your identity all this time? Seo Yeon smiled bitterly. Yes, it was difficult, especially when I suffered personal insults from people who didn't know who I was. Do-yeon bowed his head. Guilt washed over him for failing to protect his wife. But thanks to that, I learned a lot. How to see the world from the perspective of the weak, and who truly cares for me. Seo Yeon looked at Joo-hee and smiled. Joo-hee wiped her tears and gave her friend a thumbs up. Just then, Malsoon jumped up from her seat. Her face was flushed red. What is this? You deceived me? Seo Yeon answered calmly. I didn't deceive you, Mother. You never asked, and you never tried to find out about me. Malsoon was speechless. It was true. She had never once tried to learn her daughter-in-law's true background, judging her only by her appearance. Do-yeon asked in a trembling voice. Seo Yeon, then was our entire married life a lie? Seo Yeon looked at her husband. Her gaze held a mix of pity and disappointment. It wasn't a lie. I truly loved you and tried to be a good wife. But what about you? Do-yeon closed his mouth. He couldn't say anything. He truly hadn't protected his wife. Seo Yeon spoke again towards the journalists. I would like to make one more announcement through today's gathering. The main conference room fell quiet again. SEO Yan held up a document. I have decided to divorce my husband. I am closing this 5-year chapter of marriage and starting a new life as the CEO of Dongwon Construction. Mal soon staggered. Shinwoo hurriedly supported her mother. Do-yeon was in shock and couldn't say anything. Seo-yeon looked at her mother-in-law one last time. Mother, today is December 31st, the day of the ultimatum you set. I kept my promise too. The strength left Malsoon's legs. She never dreamed in her wildest dreams that the ultimatum she gave her daughter-in-law would come back to her like this. After the press conference ended, Seo-yeon entered the waiting room. Joo-hee ran over and tightly hugged Seo-yeon. You were really amazing. Did you see those expressions? Especially your mother-in-law's face. Seo-yeon smiled weakly. She felt refreshed, but also empty at the same time. That her 5-year marriage had ended like this. A noisy sound came from outside. The secretaries were blocking Do-yeon from entering the waiting room. Seo-yeon! Seo-yeon! Let me see you! Seo-yeon shook her head. She had nothing more to say. Everything was over. Her phone rang. It was a call from the hospital. CEO Park Seo-hyun, the chairman, has passed away. Seo-yeon's heart sank. It seemed her grandfather's condition had rapidly deteriorated. Seo-yeon's world has been turned upside down once again. How will she navigate the aftermath of her revelation and the loss of her grandfather? Witness the final chapter of her transformative journey in the next episode, where new beginnings and hard-won peace await.